Wow, Kev, you're finally back with another episode of Back to Jakku. Finally! How long has it been?
It's been a long time.
I've been planning that for so long. I've had that bit in my head forever. Because I've been gone for a while, right? And we were doing a Rogue One episode, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I have to do my bit. Anyways, welcome back to Jakku, everybody. It has been a hot minute. What is going on? As you can see, and probably hear if you're not watching the video podcast, I'm not alone this time. And I'm also not on Zoom. I'm here in the flesh with the roommates. Very exciting episode here. The setup is not ideal. We have 2 microphones when we need 4, and we're passing them around. So I want to apologize in advance for the mic noises that you're going to hear throughout this. But, we're making do with what we have, and we're just going to go with it anyway.
That's what it's all about.
So I'm going to shut up, and I will let you guys introduce yourselves. So go ahead and tell us who you are and kind of how you got started with Star Wars in your life, I guess. So, Caleb, you want to take it away?
Oh, man, I guess. I don't really know how I got started with Star Wars. Should I look at you or should I look at them?
It doesn't matter.
All right. You're real people, so I'm going to talk over here. My name's Caleb. How did I get started with Star Wars? I think it was just my parents, like my dad mostly. My mom is in love with Harrison Ford, loves Han Solo. My dad, also likes Star Wars. And I think it was just that I probably watched the prequels as a kid, and then eventually they were like, oh, there's some other ones that you should watch too. I don't know if I have an interesting story about how I got started with Star Wars. It was just my parents were like, hey, you're a nerd, you'll like this. Watch it real quick.
Nice. David, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm pretty sure I watched the first 6 Star Wars movies in a past life. It's been a long time. I remember hiding under a table at a family reunion watching Luke Skywalker fight some sort of winter beast. I have no idea. The Wampa. I love that name. Yeah, the Wampa. That is my only memory of watching the first 6 movies the time around. And then my buddy and I used to, when the 7th movie came out, we got a little excited, so we went and we saw that one. And then we went and we saw the next one, and I just haven't seen the last one, so.
You will eventually.
Oh, yeah, you haven't.
Maybe.
Well, we'll show you.
Wait,
Yeah.
what have you not seen?
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, man, that's going to be a fun podcast. Oh, I can't wait for that.
Because remember, Kevin put on that whole play explaining the plot to him that one time.
Oh, yes.
I got very theatrical in explaining everything that happens in The Rise of Skywalker. You know what's funny, too, is me and Noah did an episode of Live at the Cantina, right after The Rise of Skywalker came out. 2-hour-long podcast just praising the movie. We just were complimenting every little thing they did, and we were just loving it. The Rise of Skywalker episode this time around is going to be very different.
Yeah.
But, David, I don't think you said your name.
Hi, I'm David. I'm here. We watched Rogue One.
We
I
did.
was told there'd be free food, so.
Was there free food?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Lies. Deceptions.
I'm curious, before I tell my tale of Star Wars, though I can't compete with David's reincarnation. But no. So did you when you liked Rise of Skywalker, were you
I still like it.
when you loved Rise of Skywalker?
Okay,
were you even a fan of the stuff that was that kind of retconned the Last Jedi stuff, or did that kind of make you upset at the time?
At the time, I liked it because I wasn't huge on The Last Jedi at the time.
So you flip?
No, I flip-flopped. It literally couldn't have been more opposite. But then it wasn't until quarantine.
There's retconning?
No. Well, David, you'll just have to wait and see. But the thing is, it wasn't until deep quarantine when I rewatched The Last Jedi with an open mind and fell in love with the movie. So that was after The Rise of Skywalker came out. So during Rise of Skywalker, I was not a fan of TLJ by RJ. RJ standing for Rian Johnson, writer and director of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, also known as TLJ by RJ.
He's also the writer and director of that Star Wars trilogy that never ended up happening.
Yeah, I think there's been a recent development with that in the sense that it's not good. I don't think it's happening, which is so sad. And I'm not. Yeah. Okay. And here's the thing. I'm not going to go on about this. I just want to say this. Rian Johnson did something different with Star Wars in The Last Jedi.
He
right?
did.
And the reason why a lot of people didn't like that is because he was doing that to a pre-existing story to pre-existing characters. Give Rian Johnson his own story with brand new characters, and he'll be able to tell a fantastic story that I think most people will love.
He'd probably, yeah,
Because he's a great filmmaker.
he is. Knives Out is incredible.
And he's done Breaking Bad, one
Yeah,
of the greatest TV shows ever.
Wait, he did the Fly episode?
Yeah.
Tough. Well, but no, he's done a few Breaking Bad episodes that were good.
We stand Rian Johnson on this podcast. But Keefer,
Yes.
go ahead, take it away.
So I am Keefer, and how did I get started with Star Wars? So I own the original 3. Well, my parents do, and I made it very clear with them that they cannot sell them because I know that those could easily end up in a box somewhere, and I refuse to let that happen. So own the original trilogy on VHS. I watched those as a kid. Definitely watched the prequels with like friends and stuff at birthday parties and sleepovers. And I'll be honest, I was never really I was never super into Star Wars, which is pretty typical for me. I've dabbled in like every fandom known to mankind and then always don't have a lot of nostalgia for it. But then something happened, which was The Force Awakens came out. And I got really excited to see it. And then I loved it. I loved it. And it made me retroactively become a way bigger Star Wars fan than I was. And I watched all the movies again with a newer perspective. Rewatching it, I kind of realized that A New Hope and Force Awakens are, kind of the same. But I didn't care. I still love them both the same. And yeah, so that's basically my Star Wars story.
Nice. I feel like The Force Awakens brought a lot of people back into Star Wars. It did for me. You guys know my Star Wars story and how that movie single-handedly changed my life. But yeah, so those are the introductions. Lightning round.
Star Wars story that I forgot.
You can.
A Rogue One, a Star Wars story?
Nice. Yeah. When I was in elementary school, like probably, 4th or 5th grade, my dad would drive me and my sister to school early in the morning, and his car had a thing that you could like play DVDs on, but not like one of the newer ones where it's like a decent sized screen like on the back of a seat or like in the ceiling or whatever. It was in the center console, and I swear, here, will you take this for 1 second? The screen was that big.
Audio listeners, it is very tiny.
It's so small.
Couldn't be more than a couple inches
Like smaller than a
wide.
phone screen. And we would watch all kinds of stuff on there, and it would take us like forever to get through movies because it was like a 15-20 minute drive to school. But there was a period where we did watch all the Star Wars movies on that small screen, and it definitely wasn't the first time that I had seen them, but it was probably like the point in my life where I was like, yeah, no, I am into these actually. This is sick. So
I mean, hey, your vehicle had a screen. I had one of those little portable DVD players.
I also had the portable DVD players. My earliest memory of like watching a movie was watching the original Batman and like Dodgeball on one of those portable DVD players going up north.
I watched The Incredibles going to see my grandparents in Illinois at the time. I forgot Illinois.
And there was also a spring break trip where we went down to Florida, and I brought all the Star Wars movies with me and watched a couple of them on that portable DVD player.
You like Star Wars?
No. Yeah. So, yeah, introductions out of the way. before we get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, meat and potatoes. That was funny. I thought I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It's also just a saying, though.
It is. It is. But see, I don't think that's a saying I've ever used before, and I think that's where the humor comes from. I think that's why.
What's like the Star Wars equivalent, like of meat and potatoes? What would a person in Star Wars say instead of that?
Wampa meat.
I don't know if people eat wampa meat.
Wampas kill people.
Is that canon?
Yeah. What, wampas?
Yeah, do they eat wampa?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not.
Gotta be a
The
Wikipedia
wampa
page out there
eats.
somewhere.
The wampa eats people.
I'm sure they do, because they're in a winter wonderland, so they need to get as much food as they can. So they probably do a wampa,
Yeah.
right?
Probably.
It's like walrus, really big walrus.
Yeah.
They probably eat what are they called? Tauntauns?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably those.
These names are just the best things I've ever heard.
Star Wars has some good names. Anyway, introduction out of the way. Lightning round. I want to hear your favorite Star Wars movie and your favorite Star Wars character.
Oh hell yeah!
Rogue One, the blind guy.
Chirrut Imwe. That's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
Oh man, I was not prepared to go next. Hand that to Caleb. He has to go.
Okay.
And then I'll say this after.
David, your favorite character is also from Rogue One. Wow, you just really like that movie, huh? Yeah. Rogue One is also my favorite Star Wars movie. But my favorite character, honestly, I have no idea. I feel like I always say Obi-Wan but that's mostly because I love Ewan McGregor. I do also love Obi-Wan. Let's go with that.
I think I'm also gonna have to go with Obi-Wan. If not, then Luke. But also no. I'm not gonna lie. I do actually. I quite like Rey. I quite like Rey.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
We love to see the Rey appreciation.
Rey's great. But yeah, I would say my favorite movie in the Star Wars series is definitely Revenge of the Sith. Like, without a doubt.
Revenge of the Sith is great.
Mm-hmm.
Really good
And
movie.
easily the best prequels movie, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, not trying
My
to cut you
favorite
off.
character is actually Greedo.
Caleb, you need to watch yourself.
I'm not going to say it, but we all know.
For context,
What's your favorite quote?
Caleb has been harassing me for quite a long time now, but like really bad these past few days by saying the forbidden word that Greedo speaks in the newest version of A New Hope on Disney Plus, and he's got it on his soundboard. And honestly, I'm just over it.
And I do a good impression of Greedo.
He actually does. He does a very good Greedo impression. No, we can't. Not on.
I can only say that word in the impression. I can't say anything else. So if you won't let me, then no.
And I'm not letting him.
That's fair.
It's not happening.
It's very reasonable.
Maybe on the New Hope podcast.
Maybe.
Because it's A New Hope. But right now, it would just be unnecessary and just dumb, actually.
Kind of like how it is in the movie.
Yeah. Just like how it is in the movie.
I'd like to amend my answer, if that's
Oh,
acceptable.
retcon.
I am basic. R2D2 is cool.
That's not
He was-
a basic answer.
He was my favorite growing up.
R2D2 is great. And honestly, yeah,
He makes funny noises.
He does.
He's
I
a
have
robot.
a,
I kind of like him.
I don't have it here at school, but I have a remote controlled R2D2 that lights up and makes noises and falls over, and you can drive him around, and it's actually quite cool.
Oh.
Yeah. For you guys know, my favorite character is Kylo Ren. My favorite movie is The Force Awakens. The people that are listening probably know that. We don't need to talk about it. So, before we get into the Rogue One discussion, we did a fun little thing this weekend. A fun little thing that I've never done before. And I had an excellent time. We went to Comic-Con. That was my first ever Comic-Con. Did you not know what I was talking about?
I looked at
Wait.
David and he thought that I wanted the mic, and I'm like, no, I just
Oh,
don't know what we
you
did.
were not. You weren't.
Just trying to share.
Right.
You weren't down here when I did my debrief.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
This
I'm
is
like,
gonna be fun for
We're
me.
going to talk about Comic-Con on the podcast, by the way. Just a heads up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Just thought it was just let you know in
Do you
advance.
want to like prepare anything in advance?
I might step off and write some notes down and come back later.
Because I literally, I was like, okay, we're gonna let you do your little intros. We're gonna talk about Comic-Con, and then we'll talk about Rogue One. I guess you just weren't here for that.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I didn't know that was happening, I am. I'd be down to kick it off because I don't think I think I'll have the least amount to say out of all of you.
Take it away.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. So basically, that Comic-Con, I have been there one other time because it's in my hometown. But I have it was honestly my fun came from seeing these boys get so excited about it.
Suddenly a dad.
I was like, it felt like I was printing my kids. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show you guys to the place. No, but it was a really fun amount of time. And like, honestly, if I'm being totally transparent, I know it's quite a sin to say on such a podcast, but generally speaking, I've fallen out of nerd culture in a lot of ways. I definitely have no disdain for it, but like even the MCU I've gotten kind of disenfranchised with, and stuff like that, the more mainstream stuff. But I showed back up. I showed up and I was like, all right, you know what? This is fun. This is fun. I just love seeing people all getting excited and hanging out with each other and celebrating that stuff that they love. And it was cool going there with a more, dare I call myself an adult? I'm not an adult, but with a more adult perspective than when I was a kid walking around with, pretty sure it was a Minecraft shirt. So, it's been a bit of time. But yeah, if I have anything else to say, I'll speak later. Mm-hmm. But that was basically my experience.
How was your Comic-Con experience, David?
Oh, Kevin, let me tell you, it was pretty cool, pretty great. Apparently, from your guys' perspective, I just kind of kept disappearing.
You got lost so many times.
I think I saw you for probably, I don't know how long we were there, but I saw you for maybe 15 minutes.
I will be honest. I'll be perfectly honest. We were waiting for Keefer, and then you and your friends got there, and then everyone continued to just stand in the entryway. I didn't want to stand in the entryway, so I left, and that was that. No, we were there for 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, and I walked all around that floor and still didn't hit all the booths. It was massive.
It was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It was Grand Rapids Comic-Con, by the way, and I figured it would be kind of like a small little thing, maybe not a whole lot of people, but there were people. And we went on the Friday, the first day. Apparently, the Saturday, that's when it gets packed.
Yeah, I bet.
But for my first Comic-Con experience, it was really good. And not only did I just attend the Comic-Con, I wore the Kylo Ren cosplay, which I wasn't going to do at first. And then you guys kind of talked me into it. And then I also had some TikTok friends kind of talk me into it too. And I am so glad that I did. I was nervous at first, kind of unwarranted nervousness. I think there was really no reason for me to be nervous, but I was like, oh, I don't know how many people are going to be there. I don't know how many people are going to be dressed up. But as soon as I walked through those doors, I just saw so many people in cosplay and everything. I'm like, oh, this is where I belong, wearing this outfit. And it was so much fun. A lot of cool Star Wars cosplays there. I met these two girls that had Hunter and Crosshair armor, but they built it out of foam. And you wouldn't be able to tell it was foam by looking at it because it was so high quality and so nicely done. And just a lot of cool... oh my gosh, I've never seen that many Black Series figures in one place before. I had to restrain myself from spending an ungodly amount of money at Comic-Con, but I did. I didn't buy a single Black Series figure. So, yeah. Oh, and another thing too is we all know the 501st costume group and whatever. What?
If we were allowed to talk
we're not gonna get into it because I don't want to. But I will say, they had an event, a panel at 4:15 p.m. Just kind of was supposed to be them talking about the club and what they do and how to get involved. So we're there at 4:15, and there's nobody there. They didn't even show up to their own panel. So that's all I'm gonna say about the 501st on this podcast, and that's where we're gonna leave it. Because
we're at the convention. That's just a little thing I'd like to add. They were at the convention.
They were
but
there.
Didn't go to their panel.
At the time of their panel.
Yeah, no, they were there. But we could go way more in depth about the experience with the 501st at Comic-Con.
It's not slander if it's true, right?
Yeah, but let's just not.
That's fair.
Why sour a good time?
We don't need to start a Star Wars with them.
No, we don't. But I'm feeling.
Do that again, and I'm unplugging this mic.
I, for one, appreciated that.
Thank you.
The witty humor. But I'm feeling very inspired after Comic-Con, and I want to formally have it put this out there so I can be held accountable for this. I'm going to build a set of Cobb Vanth armor this summer. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to make it out of, but I'm doing it, and if I don't, there needs to be consequences. Because I've been wanting to for so long, and I just, especially after seeing the creativity of everybody at Comic-Con, it's like, oh, this is something that I need to do. So I am in the very early process of kind of figuring out how to go about that. But mark my words, on Back to Jack Q, it is happening. I am building a set of Cobb Vanth armor.
Your words have been marked. We will
Good.
be holding you accountable.
Good. That's what I want. That's what I asked for. So I'm glad. But yeah, I didn't buy anything at Comic-Con. That's actually not true. I bought a Kylo Ren print, which is actually sick. And I will put a picture of that here if you're watching the video podcast. And then I also got the Boba Fett Slave 1 Lego set because I actually needed it for a group project in school. And I got it for $5 cheaper than retail at Comic-Con. So
Feels good.
yeah. And then I will also put pictures of the Kylo cosplay at Comic-Con here if I already haven't done that earlier in the video.
Did you build it yet?
What?
Sorry.
No.
Did you build it yet?
His Kylo costume.
Oh, the Kylo.
That is-
No.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Lego set.
No, the Lego set will be built tomorrow by you guys, and then it will be destroyed.
Oh, let's go.
It will be destroyed by you guys, by Caleb, actually. No. And then it will be rebuilt by me.
On this podcast, on the record, I'm actually really glad I didn't admit this to you guys earlier because now I can say and get your guys' reaction on camera.
Oh, boy.
I'm not joking. I could easily be wrong. This is what I was talking about when I said I've delved into every fandom in existence, but never got so into it. I actually think I've never built a Lego set before.
Wow.
I'm dead serious. If I have, it's been a tiny
So-
thing with friends.
So you didn't have a childhood then?
Sorry,
Dude, I know.
I
It's kinda
actually
tragic.
just pulled the microphone away out of shock.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Opposite of you, Legos were the only thing I had as a kid. I had nothing else.
Legos are fantastic.
What does that mean? Oh, no, I get it now. I thought you meant I hate to be so dark, but stuff to live for. That's all I had. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, David.
Just one more little race car. Let me build one more little race car.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. No, but I actually built my first Lego set for the first time since I was a kid. This time last year, it was the Boba Fett helmet. I forgot how much fun it is putting those together. And after that, I bought 2 or 3 more Lego sets. Yeah, Keefer, it is.
I'm gonna find
You
out
wouldn't know.
tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll find out for the first time tomorrow. But yeah, Caleb, you want to tell us about your Comic-Con experience?
Yeah, so I, unlike Kevin, have been to tons of Comic-Cons. I've been going to Comic-Con for probably, I don't know how long. A long time though. If it isn't 10 years yet, we're probably getting close to it. Where I went pretty much every year to Motor City Comic-Con back home, but I've also been to Wizard World Comic-Con in 1 or 2 cities, and Heroes and Villains Fan Fest in a couple of cities. So I've gone to Comic-Con a lot. And obviously because of the pandemic, I hadn't been to one in a while. And when we got through that area where we put the tickets in and we were allowed to actually go into the room, I got giddy looking at the main floor. I was like, oh, I'm back. I'm so excited to go to Comic-Con again. And also because I'm at probably peak nerd in my life right now. I play D&D now. I just know more about so much other fandoms and other nerdy stuff that I didn't used to be that into. So it was fun. It was really exciting. And it got me back into some stuff. I found a guy who was selling art, and I found a a BioShock poster that he was selling, and since then I haven't thought about BioShock in years, and I've been obsessed with it the past couple of days. So yeah, it was a really, really good time.
I also got to meet Dylan Playfair, who is an actor from the show Letterkenny, which I used to watch back in like high school. So that was cool. And he was also on the new Mighty Ducks reboot. So that was neat. Super nice guy. Very, very, I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, that was cool meeting an actor.
I'll just say, I honestly think that that's probably my favorite part of Comic-Con is just meeting people. Like everyone there is so sociable, and just is interested in talking about different things and their experiences with it. And yeah, that's my personal.
Not the
favorite part.
501st.
No, they don't really want to talk. Not even at people, which is surprising. But all right, sorry, Right.
That was my fun little experience because I got to meet Nostalgia Critic and like his kind of team, like his YouTube channel. I think it was like Channel Awesome, which I felt bad because I don't watch their content. I don't know anything about them. I'm just like, oh yeah, they do YouTube stuff. Like I met Alpha Rad a couple of years ago. Super cool dude. Called me a coward. It was great.
Wow.
And he indirectly called me a coward. It was fantastic. But like I ended up asking him some questions like, how do you figure out like what you want to do on YouTube and like, like how do you get started on all this stuff? I swear I got the exact same answer from him, like almost word for word as I did several years ago. Like it's like literally the same thing as like, well, how do I make videos? He's like, you just make videos. And like, well, what do I make content about it? Whatever you want. And that's the genuine answer. But no, people are super cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool kind of seeing everybody there at Comic-Con. I don't think they never got anybody like, they never got A-list actors there or anything because it's Grand Rapids Comic-Con. It's not like big.
I really like that you're like, oh, it was way bigger than I thought. Because like one day you'll have to go to Motor City Comic-Con. Like it's enormous. It's even bigger. And there's ones bigger than that, which blows my mind.
Yeah. I'm very excited to go to more Comic-Cons. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify. I realized it was a complete tangent. Alpha Red did not actually call me a coward. I was acting like a coward, and he called me out on it. So I don't want to slander anybody.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, thank you for the clarification.
I was surprised when the one guy told us that this is one of the bigger Comic-Cons that he's been to. I was like, really?
Oh, the guy we got trapped in a conversation with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice guy.
He was a cool guy. It was just one of those interactions where like you're looking for your buddy or pretending someone's calling you so you can escape sort of thing. But while we're on this topic of meeting people, and by the way, I can save this for a different day, a rainy day. But should I tell the story of when I met Harrison Ford?
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep it quick.
So everybody just listen up because this is actually insane.
It's kind of bizarre. It's not like I met him at like a convention or something. It actually like feels like I'm recounting a dream, but somehow this actually happened. So I'm at a bar in Wyoming. I was not old enough to drink yet. I was only 16, I believe. And so I'm in Wyoming with my friend, my family friend, and my parents, and we're at this bar. I'm in the restaurant section. And I get a call. We were there snowboarding at Jackson Hole. And I got a call from my dad, or a text from my dad saying, Han Solo's at the bar. And to say that I didn't take that message seriously is an understatement. I literally looked at it and then put my phone back away because I thought my dad was just losing his mind. And then he calls me and he's like, "Did you read my text?" I'm like, "Yeah, but what does that mean?" He goes, "He's at the bar. Like Harrison Ford is at the bar right now." I'm like, "No." And I walk in and I don't see him anywhere. And then my dad points, like, because I see my dad and he's pointing at the guy right in front of me. And the guy's wearing a leather jacket and he realizes that he's being pointed at. And he turns around and looks me dead in the eyes and it's Harrison. It's Harrison Ford. And I'm like, oh. And I wanted to say something, but instead I ran away because I was really scared. And so I say to the main bartender, I'm like, "So that is Harrison Ford?" And he goes, "Yep." And I'm like, why is no why does no one care? Because like what's going on? And he goes, oh well, he's kind of a regular here. So I'm like, oh, so I probably shouldn't ask for like a picture or something. Like I shouldn't bug the guy. And he's like, I would recommend not. So what I did instead, I'll send you this picture if you want to include it in the podcast. But I have a picture where I basically stood kind of in front of the bar with him in the background. And he knew it was happening, and he was pretty cool about it. He looked at the camera and kind of did a half, probably slightly irritated smile, you know. But, yeah, wild experience. Wild.
That's actually insane.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And, like, to have somebody turn around, like, right in front of you and look at you, out of all people, like Harrison Ford, that must have been incredibly intimidating.
One of some really sad, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it was. I was actually just kind of horrified, but, like, in the best way. But...
So just pointing at you.
Oh, yeah.
The worst part about that photo, though, is my friend Katie, who I was on the trip with. You can see her shoulder in the picture, but that's it. It's just me and Harrison Ford. She literally, I remember, she smiled for the picture.
Oh, and
then we
wasn't
looked
in
at it like later that night in the car, and she's like, yep, that's my shoulder.
That's heartbreaking.
My dad. And he felt terrible. We were Kate and I were both like, why would you do that? And he's like, I really don't know. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, that was so rude of me. Yeah.
That's actually so sad.
Yeah. And I do believe my dad. I don't think he was trying to be like selfish. I just like, I think he really just wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is a big moment for my son.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if he wanted it just you, he could have taken the picture and just cropped her out of it.
Exactly.
What if it was just you? Like Harrison Ford wasn't even in the frame. It was just you.
Oh, well, I would delete the picture and be like, that's a useless photo. Like that. Like,
So did you say when this was?
this was, whenever Winterfest is.
You said you were 16. So like 2015, probably 2016.
Sophomore year, it was definitely 2016. Yes. February.
Was it
2016.
winter? Oh,
I know this because Walking Dead came back. So yes, it was February.
for those of you who don't know, which is probably all of you, Keefer likes The Walking Dead like I like Star Wars. So that he's got a Walking Dead mug in his hands right now. So that tells you how much he enjoys that show.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna drag these guys into a Walking Dead podcast at some point, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. It's only fair we dragged you onto the Star Wars podcast. So.
I'm happy to be dragged onto here.
Oh, well, that's good. That makes me feel good. So that was right after Force Awakens came out then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I was going to ask if he was canonically dead yet.
he was. Spoiler alert.
He's dead?
No.
It's 2021.
I'm not going to lie. I was really weirded out by your guys' demeanor because I thought you guys were talking about Harrison Ford. Like, Harrison Ford's dead.
No, he better not be.
I was so
He
confused.
better not be.
But yeah, no.
Did you tell Noah your Harrison Ford story when he was here?
No.
Oh,
That sucks.
I've told him before though.
You have?
Yeah,
What did he think?
he was very jealous
Oh, wait. Yeah, you told me that.
because Noah could very well be the biggest. He is the biggest Han Solo fan in the world. He might be the biggest Harrison Ford fan in the world.
Dude, yeah, no. I'm sad for him that he didn't take my place because I was definitely really excited, but I think I was double excited because Force Awakens was 3 months old, so I was like, oh boy, ooh, and I really just expected him to walk out and get in the Millennium Falcon and take off, but it was nowhere in sight.
I would feel so, because some actors just kind of have that demeanor. I would feel so intimidated to even approach him. Like, I'd be scared. Same with Adam Driver, too. If I ever meet Adam Driver in real life, he's an intimidating dude. I would be scared. I would be scared.
I think the difference there, though, is Adam Driver, and no slander to Harrison Ford, Adam Driver seems like a sweetheart, and Harrison Ford seems like he would be upset at you if you tried to talk to him. Yeah. So, no. But also, you're still completely understandable. It would be extremely intimidating, but at least Adam Driver wouldn't hate you.
Lightning round, one more before we move on to Rogue One. You can meet any actor I was gonna keep it to Star Wars, but we won't do that. Any actor ever to have like a 10-minute conversation
Go
with.
ahead, David, because I don't know yet.
Who do you?
Jim Caviezel.
I don't know who that is.
He's the dude who played the Passion of the Christ, which I've never seen that movie, but he's a phenomenal actor. He's also the lead character from Person of Interest. He's the ex-CIA guy. I just love his acting style. It's very good. He just kind of plays the tall, shady figure, and I'm tall, so like, I like that.
Not that shady though.
Yeah. Kind of little shady. I've had people call me shady. It happens. I'm usually standing over top of them, like blocking out the light.
Right.
It happens.
What's the one actor to talk to for a little bit?
Yeah, just the meat.
Probably Stephen Amell then, who plays the Green Arrow on Arrow, which is my Star Wars and Walking Dead. I have met him at Comic-Cons multiple times before, but I've never been able to speak to him. So if I could, yeah, definitely that.
This answer kind of surprises me that I'm picking this, but I think I'm gonna have to go with John Bernthal. He's not even my favorite actor. Like, he's definitely one of them, but I think the main thing is like here's how it started. I started with Walking Dead, and then I was like, all right, well, and then I switched over. I was thinking, like Rick, obviously, Andrew Lincoln, but like John Bernthal though is involved in so much stuff, like so many movies I'm a fan of. Baby Driver, Fury.
I forgot he was in Fury.
Yeah.
That's a really good movie.
It's a very good movie. Very good war film.
Who is he in Baby Driver?
He is in, I think we actually talked about this like recently. He's in like the first 15 minutes and then he never shows up again.
Oh, was he one of the guys in the car?
Yes.
He's in the first heist, yeah.
Yep.
Wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then, Walking Dead, Punisher, and he just also, I just really like the guy and his demeanor. So I think I'd have to pick him.
Haven't you met him?
I did. I met him at Motor City Comic Con once. Back before I
Makes
watched
me
The
so
Walking Dead,
jealous.
when I just knew him from Punisher.
I think my immediate answer was to say either Adam Driver or Daisy Ridley. But honestly, if I was going to sit down with somebody, probably John Boyega, who plays Finn, because he's such a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of personality. And like if I was going to go get a drink with anybody from Star Wars, he seems like he'd be the most fun to do that with.
We're getting a drink with these people.
I changed the prompts. Yeah.
Whoa.
Does that change the answer?
Doesn't change mine. I want to be outdrank by John
I'll
Bernthal.
give do you want me to grab it when you do this? I don't know what you want me to do. I'll give a Star Wars answer though, but not because of Star Wars. I would meet Oscar Isaac. I do like him in Star Wars, but he's also about to be in Moon Knight, which I've recently become obsessed with. So I would probably talk to him about that too. But also, he's just he was also just in Dune. He's a good actor. Also, mostly just because it's funny timing to bring this up, controversial pick. I do really like Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor, but I don't know if I can be seen with him in public right now.
Wait, what's happening?
Taylor just dropped.
All too well. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. Taylor Swift just released Red Taylor's version, and with that, we got the 10-minute version of All Too Well, which is her best song, in my opinion, my favorite Taylor Swift song, and it's all about how Jake Gyllenhaal is a horrible person, or at least a horrible boyfriend. Yeah. And she came out with a short film depicting her and Jake's relationship. Horrible guy. Fantastic actor.
Really,
horrible person.
Really bad boyfriend.
Imagine
He never. All he had to do was give her scarf back, but he couldn't do that.
Hold her hand.
Yeah. He dropped her hand. What was she supposed to do with that?
I don't know about any of this. It's one thing to be a terrible boyfriend. Regardless of all that, imagine your ex puts out a hit piece on you.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal is fighting for his life right now.
He also doesn't shower. So if I wanted to like have a conversation with him, like I wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't, because what if he fucking smells?
Oh, he definitely does.
Sorry. I'm not supposed to swear on this podcast. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Smell through the
No,
screen.
he is a gaslighter. He's a manipulator, groomer, maybe.
This is pure slander.
He's a groomer.
He was like 30.
That's just
when she was a teenager and dating.
Oh yeah, she
and-
was like 19.
Yeah.
Wait,
20.
if it's
She was
19,
20 because she was 19 when she was dating John Mayer,
That's right. She was
which
20 'cause she
he
turned
better be.
21.
so she's
horrifying.
So she's 20. He's not a groomer.
He was
But
30
it's
years
it's
old.
just so weird. It's so
no,
weird.
but you can say it's weird, but groomer's a pretty serious allegation. Like he did not groom
That's
someone if
okay.
they're 20 years
I'm
old.
formally redacting that statement.
Okay.
I take it back.
He also
But
didn't go to her birthday party.
no, he didn't.
Like, don't get
He
me
didn't.
wrong. Funny
It's supposed
joke,
to be
but
fun
also, like,
turning
that's a
21.
serious,
We
Didn't go to the cancel this man. Not going to a birthday party.
no.
What kind of monster?
And as Taylor Swift said in the new version of All Too Well, it's supposed to be fun turning 21, which is why 22 by Taylor Swift is such a happy song because she's celebrating the 21st birthday that she didn't have at 21.
That even rhymes.
There's so many layers to this, and my Swiftie listeners I'm sure they'll get a kick out of all of this. But
You know what this whole conversation reminds me of? Long time ago. I am not saying this is my answer. So if you're going to clip me in this, all right, get the whole context, please. A very long time ago, I definitely would have been down to say Kevin Spacey. I loved his acting. But also,
can't
he
say
is,
that anymore.
Exactly. So I'm kind of, that's too bad now. But
Baby Driver's still one of my favorite movies of all time. But like the last time I had to give like a presentation or something on it, I literally just put like a smiley face PNG over his face on like
Ah,
the wallpaper, so nobody had to look at him.
I feel like you have to do that with a couple people on that poster now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
because I know what's his name, Ansel.
Ansel Elgort?
Yeah.
What did he do? No. Do I want to know?
I
even?
think. I think. I don't quote me on this because I don't know 100% sure, but I think groomer type stuff, like in that ballpark.
No, stop ruining my favorite movie.
But like not like how we just said Jake Gyllenhaal is a groomer when he's
Again,
not.
I wanted to
like
clarify
like
what
accurate.
you said
No,
this
like
loosely.
like I
Again,
I think,
formally taking it
like,
back.
like
Jake
actually-
Gyllenhaal is not a groomer. Still
There-
a bad boyfriend. Still
There are
a
a
bad
lot
person.
of allegations going on in this.
This
podcast.
is just we are so derailed right now. This is actually insane.
Yeah, we are.
Let's get back on
We really
track.
are.
I don't even
I was
remember.
gonna tell a story about Kevin's face, which wouldn't make any sense. But so let's get back to Rogue One.
Yeah. So Rogue One, that's a movie.
Yeah, sure is.
That's a movie. Okay. So
It's a
let's
story.
let's a Star Wars story.
That's right.
So back to it. Well, back to it. No,
I can't believe that went over my head for a second.
that was a Walking Dead reference. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I think we've been planning a Rogue One podcast for a long time, even back during
Years.
during the Cantina days. Literally, because that
Oh.
was 2 years ago.
I was joking, but
You're right.
that's awesome.
Your joke was also a correct fact.
I am happy to be a part of such a buildup.
Yeah, no, that was a great little moment right there.
How does it feel to be right?
It doesn't happen often, David. So it feels great.
I feel you.
Now, so we watched Rogue One because we are showing a friend the Star Wars movies for the very first time.
She's gonna be on this.
She is. We wanted her on tonight. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. But we are going to get Hannah on the podcast eventually to talk about her viewing experience with Star Wars for the first time. Now, we started with Rogue One. I decided that Rogue One was the best Star Wars movie to show somebody first that's never seen Star Wars before. Are you guys telling secrets over there?
I am asking if he'd like the microphone because someone doesn't have enough microphones for us. So why don't you continue?
Wow. Wow. I feel personally attacked. Well, okay. First of all, even if I did have 4 mics, we couldn't use 4 mics. I only got 2 XLR inputs here. So
Oh, okay. Oh, don't even have that.
unless I buy a new audio interface, but that's
All right,
not
I'm done.
happening. Wow.
I'm done.
Okay.
This is a better setup for any podcast than I've ever been a part of. So no worries. I'm definitely just yanking your chain.
Yeah, my chain has been yanked. So we're showing Hannah the Star Wars movies for the very first time.
Gyllenhaal.
The only one that she's seen was The Force Awakens, but I don't think she remembers much from that anyway. So
She thought it was Rogue One.
she did think that,
yeah, that
The
did
Force
happen.
Awakens was Rogue One. It wasn't. So we watched Rogue One for the first time, and we showed her that movie first because I believe Rogue One is the best place to start with Star Wars, and I'll tell you why. If you're showing Star Wars to somebody for the very first time, you usually have 2 options. you can show them A New Hope first, or you can show them The Phantom Menace first, depending on whether you want to go in release order or chronological order. Or there's also the Machete order, which is kind of what we're doing, but we're starting with Rogue One, which the Machete order is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, with the spin-offs thrown in there somewhere. Rogue One's a great place to start because, first of all, it's a new movie. You know, it doesn't look, I'm not going to say that the original trilogy looks old, but it definitely has a different look. You know, that's just how it is with advancements in technology and everything. And Rogue One is a visually stunning film. It's beautiful. Even watching it the other night, I was like, wow, I forgot how gorgeous this movie is. So above all else, they're going to be engaged by the visuals of the film. And what I think Rogue One does really well is sets up a context for the Star Wars universe, because it obviously leads perfectly into A New Hope, but it kind of shows what the galaxy of Star Wars is like. You get the idea that the Empire is like this evil force that kind of rules over everything, and you got people kind of living their day-to-day lives under the Empire, and it's hard. And then you got the Rebellion. You got to see what the Rebellion is really like. And, you know, the characters are interesting, and you get very engaged with the story. And that third act, it's just war. It puts the wars in Star Wars, and it's just, it's so good. Plus, you get the Vader hallway scene, which first time I saw that in theaters, I actually lost my mind. But Rogue One just provides such a good, it's like, okay, here's what the Star Wars universe is like. We're going to show you this movie. It's going to lead perfectly into the next movie. You're going to have context. You're going to understand what's going on. And then we'll get into the rest of the story after this. Because I did preface to Hannah before we watched it. I'm like, just so you know, you're never going to see any of these characters again. Which, in hindsight, probably should have worded that differently.
Could not believe you said that.
I was shocked that you said that.
Yeah, it wasn't the best move.
You might as well have said, by the way, they all die.
But I feel like I said it in a way where she didn't pick up on that. And she didn't. I'm pretty sure she said she didn't even think about
did.
that.
She said, because we did criticize you for saying that they don't show up or ever again. And she did say, oh, I never even would have thought that it meant they died.
See, it's fine. It was fine.
If you say so, yeah.
Well, and I'll be honest. I was also going to keep my mouth shut. Like, when you said that, I looked and I'm like, okay. I can't believe that just came out of your mouth. I'm going to stay silent just in case this is salvageable. And then it was Caleb that said, I can't believe you said that. And I said, yeah, me neither. I had to agree with him.
It
I was like,
all
yeah.
worked out fine.
Yeah. She was shocked by all the deaths, too. Like,
Yeah.
every time one happened, she's like, wow, everyone's dying. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's
You know,
sweet.
the funny thing about Rogue One is, you know how, like, whenever you fake spoil a movie, you always go, oh, everybody dies in the end. It's actually what happens in Rogue One.
yeah, yes.
I actually love that. I think that's great. But no, I think Rogue One's just the best place to start with Star Wars. I'll shut up now. I'll let you guys share your thoughts. Whoever wants to take it away, take it away.
I don't know if I want to share my thoughts quite yet, but I do want to comment on something that you said. You said, like, how you forgot what a beautiful movie it is. Yeah. And also, like, a lot of people, if you're a hater of Last Jedi, even if it's not your thing, pretty much everyone universally agrees most well-shot Star Wars movie. That is definitely challenged by Rogue One, though. It is incredibly shot. They're both beautiful.
If I had to rank them, I'd say Last Jedi is first, Rogue One's second.
Yeah.
It's close, though.
I think in basic cinematography, it's definitely better, for sure.
I love the concept of, like, the shield gate. Is that what it was called?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just have, like, this shield around, like, an entire planet. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a little opening for it. Like, that's... As someone who grew up playing with Legos, you know, I think that's a really cool design, really cool concept.
You had to look at me for that.
It's
Yeah,
a lot
really
more
rub it
malicious
in.
Than I intended.
Yeah, I played with Legos when I was a kid. Unlike
thought
some people.
I thought I had a Rogue One story from the theater. I was mistaken. It was the seventh movie.
So was that your first time watching Rogue One?
It was in theaters, yes.
Oh.
And I went to watch it with my sister and at the time boyfriend, who I could also slander, but I'm not going to. Sister's correct, yes. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm not into men. Sorry.
I'm sure all the viewers are like,
dang.
That's
Man.
That's an inside thing.
But No, like going to see Rogue One for the first time, I was really upset at the end of the movie. I'm like, why? They could have there could have been a ship. They could have gotten away. It would have been fine. I don't care if I never see him again. Like, let them be happy. Watching it for the second time, I like it a lot more. I like it that they gave their life for the cause.
I like that movie more every time I watch it.
I think it wouldn't have had as much impact if they had gotten away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, they made a sacrifice. That's the thing.
I love Rogue One. Yeah, it's been my favorite Star Wars movie for a while. I went to see it my family did a trip to Disney World, whatever year it came out, and in like not the main park, but like a big shopping area or something that they have.
Downtown Disney.
Downtown Disney. Yeah. They have a big movie theater there.
They have a Lego store.
They do have a Lego store.
I'm gonna have to go visit there.
Really great Lego store.
Culture myself.
I've been to the Lego store in Florida.
They used to have
I got
giant
the
sea
General
dragon.
Grievous
Oh.
ship there.
I've been there. I have been there.
We're having two different conversations
there's
at
two
the same
podcasts
time.
happening right now.
I saw another opportunity to bring up Legos. I just went.
But I went to see it in that theater with my family, and they had a thing where you could like order food from your seat, and they would bring it to you. And I got this chocolate milkshake that came with an entire brownie in it. And when I tried to pull it
amazing.
out, a lot of it spilled on me, and I was cold and wet for most of the movie. It was pretty unfortunate.
Wow.
Really, really liked the movie though. I love all of the characters. I like how, for the first time in Star Wars, war is very gritty and scary. Like when we rewatched it, I forgot about that part where that kid is standing in the street screaming while there's just a battle happening around her, and I was actually like really unnerved. I was like, oh, that sucks. That's really frightening.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think all the characters are just so great, especially the two monks.
Chirrut and Baze.
There you go.
I think my favorite characters in the movie.
And I think coming out of the movie, one of the main, I wouldn't even call this a complaint, but just one of the things that I was upset about is the fact that they all died, and that we watched the whole timeline of them meeting means that there can never be any extended universe thing where it's all of these characters together again, because I just love that group so much. But also, their story and their ending is just fantastic. And I remember who dies first. Is it K2SO or is it the pilot? Is it Bodhi?
It's K2.
I remember watching K2 die, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. And then when Bodhi died, I was like, oh, everyone's gonna die.
K2 has a sad death.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
They do.
It's tragic. It's a sad movie.
Yeah.
At the end. But yeah, they just keep going down like dominoes at the end, as one by one. They just all die.
It really does kind of. I remember that felt pretty surreal watching it in the theater for the first time. I was like, "Are we doing this?
We're doing
Are
this.
all these characters going to die?" Like, no, it was actually a pretty. Yeah, I'm glad that they took that step. I think that probably one of the main reasons they did is to not only emphasize the sacrifice that they made, but I think also because, especially being under Disney's reign now, I think that I say now as though it hasn't been since 2014, but
Just laughing at how accurate the word reign is.
yeah, no, their empire, if you will. I think that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think that one of the reasons they probably went for that, to kill off all the characters, is because it's gonna be one of the few times that they can. That they're like, you know what? Let's wipe this slate clean. Let's just go all out and red wedding these people. Just.
You kind of think that they had to die because it's a prequel to A New Hope, but it's characters that we've never seen.
Yeah.
So I mean, it made sense.
Well, I can bring this up later, but I was going to ask you guys if you've ever seen the film theory video about Rogue One that he made before Rogue One came out, that the theory was that they would be kidnapped and brainwashed at the end of the movie, and that in episode 8, it would be revealed that they had become the Knights of Ren. There wasn't a ton of evidence to back it up because there wasn't any lore about the Knights of Ren, and Rogue One wasn't even out yet. But just like comparing costumes from the Force Awakens like art book and like the names that all the Knights of Ren had just had, like their names weren't their actual names. It was just like the Heavy, the Scout, the whatever. And he was able to one by one be like the big guy with the gun is the Heavy. They have a monk. That's the monk. There's one called the Rogue. It's literally Rogue One. And he stares right at Felicity Jones when he says it. One's the pilot, one's the sniper. And it like lined up really well. And I never expected it to be true, but I was like, that's actually like, that's crazy like how well it lined up. Like literally each Rogue One character kind of made sense to fit with one of the Knights of Ren at that time.
That's quite the interesting theory.
Yeah.
That's my first time hearing about it. That's actually sick. The Knights of Ren. Oh man, David, we won't talk about it here, but we will soon. Yeah. Anyways,
silently nod and accept that whatever language you guys are speaking, you guys are having a conversation. I'm just here to support.
When we talk about The Last Jedi?
Last Jedi.
Or Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker.
Last Jedi, Star Wars, names of actors. Really, I am a blank book.
Yeah. Am I just saying like my thoughts on the movie basically?
yeah.
Okay. I will say I didn't love it the first time I saw it. I had nothing bad to say about it necessarily. I wasn't in love with the movie. Where I felt that way about where I felt like I really loved Force Awakens. But watching it a second time, I definitely enjoyed it far more than.
Was that your second time watching it?
Probably third. I'm sure I've seen it one other time since theater. There's no way. But either I just watched it by myself or something. But liked it way more this time around. I really don't quite understand why the characters get hate. Not the characters. Well, yeah, no, the characters, but why the film gets hate. I think that Disney's reign of Star Wars is very critiquable, and I don't understand why one of the actually really good piece of content they've made has been hate on. Because I just objectively think it's great. And I do think that it's a very good point to enter into the Star Wars universe because, like you said, I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of film fans, especially if we were older, we would probably have a different perspective on this, are like nervous to say that good special effects is intriguing and worth the entry point. But I would argue it definitely is. People are used to a standard these days. Get them into a series and universe where, they're like, hey, this is familiar to you, these good special effects. And then intrigue them and drag them into the series. And also just gives context to the entire world and everything going on and really does show the complexities of both sides, which I think is important because typically the Star Wars universe is a story of good and evil. And it's typically that simple in a lot of ways. And I appreciated that they showed the inner complexities of both sides, like especially with the bad guy side, like with Krennic and all that, and Vader giving his throat a pinch, and
And immediately afterwards, do I still get a promotion?
Yeah, no, he should have not asked that question.
No.
What were you thinking?
He shouldn't have.
But yeah, Krennic looks like a frog too. Just a little side note.
Wow. What a comparison.
Yeah,
Like a frog.
like the animal, amphibian.
Wow. Wow.
You know
I
what?
don't
I
even
feel
know what
bad
to think
now
about
because
that.
now that I think about it, this is an actual actor.
Yeah, he's a good one too.
Yeah, sorry.
He was in Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's getting added to the list of slander.
Right.
There's been a lot of slander on this podcast, and honestly, that's not what we're going for here. But
Yeah.
it just,
Tough.
I guess it just happened.
Shouldn't have had us on then.
Yeah, I guess not.
Slander City over here.
You are the guide of this thing, so we can either not talk about this at all or talk about it later. But I do have a question that I would really like to discuss because we did kind of discuss it during the movie a little bit, which was when you have to remind me of his name. He's with the rebels.
Andor.
Yes,
Cassian Andor.
Cassian.
Suddenly the rebellion is real for you? Some of us live it.
No,
I have been in this fight since I was 6 years old. You're not
exactly.
the only one who lost everything.
That's actually exactly the scene I'm about to bring up.
Oh, I like that line.
He really did lose everything, huh?
Yeah.
So
He's been in the fight since he was 6 years old.
when he just goes, wait, 6.5. No, but when Cassian goes to snipe Galen, and then Jin throws a giant fit at him later on about it, there were different opinions in the room. I started to say, I spoke up and I went, leave the guy alone. And then there were others that were like I think Hannah was definitely more on the side of like, no, I completely get her point. And then we just kept talking. We're like, all right, the movie's still going, so we should like stop. But I wanted to discuss what our views on that were, if you're down for that.
Views on that scene?
Yeah, and like who's right in that situation?
I don't know if there is somebody that's right. You know?
What is your opinion?
I would just like to add that I completely forgot who Cassian was, and I thought he was the dude in the cloak who gets killed when like the planet literally folds in on him.
No, that was Saw Gerrera.
It is.
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
Save the dream.
Did you come here to kill me?
He every once
Yeah,
in a while
he's got the breather
He
thing.
has this built-in inhaler.
Side note, Saw Gerrera is in literally every Star Wars project that exists. He's in everything, and nobody knows why. He is.
He is Star Wars.
I would like to apologize for the Saw Gerrera impression I did approximately 20 seconds ago, because it wasn't good. I used to be able to do a somewhat okay Saw impression. I just can't anymore. And what the display I just put on was horrendous, and I would like to say I'm sorry.
Save the dream.
Save the dream.
After we talk about Keefer's question, I would like to go into Saw Gerrera, because I have some stuff to say about his character in that movie. Thoughts?
We can do that. So who wants to take Keefer's question away first?
Okay.
David has elected Caleb.
I don't think agreeing with them is mutually exclusive. I think it makes sense that she is upset that he took them to that planet under false pretenses to kill her dad, even if he didn't do it. And the fact that her dad did die in that scene, even if he didn't do it, is probably startling and upsetting. So I get why she like lashed out at first. And I don't think she like pushes it that much afterwards, right? Like, so yeah. So I think she eventually also kind of comes around, because she doesn't like push it for the rest of the time. But the only reason I would say that maybe I agree with Cassian more, or like just that I consider myself more on that side, is just because I think his side is a lot harder to relate to and think about. It's easy to think about, like, to relate to how tough it is to lose a family member. But like when Cassian goes into his whole thing where he's like, I've literally been in this war for pretty much my entire life. Since he was 6 years old. He's never questioned any orders. He's always done shady stuff with the idea that eventually it will stop the Empire and end this war. In the beginning of the movie, he shoots that one guy just because, like,
His informant.
it's like inconvenient for him to be able to get away with him. So he's like, okay, this is the choice that has to be made right now, which sucks. But yeah, and so I think that's the only reason why I'm like more on his side, because disobeying direct orders for the first time in a fight that you're passionate about and have been in your whole life is definitely like would be an insanely life-changing experience. And I think I even said this when we talked about it. Like, when he came onto that ship, he's probably still reeling from the fact that he maybe in some way feels like that he's betrayed the rebellion a little bit. And then all of a sudden she's like, you brought me here and you killed my dad. What are you doing? And he's like, no, I didn't kill your dad. So let's all calm down, because I didn't kill your dad, and I'm having literally a life crisis right now.
And you got to consider the fact too that he probably, unless I'm forgetting, like please explain if I am forgetting this, but he doesn't really have a reason to not kill him.
Yeah.
For himself.
No, that's exactly what I was just about to say, too. like he brought them there under false pretenses, but I also find that completely understandable because if we like, you know, like to give a real world example, everybody knows the Empire is Nazis. Imagine you're a member of the Allies, and you know, a eugenics scientist's daughter is like, "Hey, he's actually a good guy. Don't worry about it." Why would you believe her? He didn't see the message. There's no reason to, and then eventually he didn't do it. But yeah, no, I mean, I find both sides completely understandable, but I think I just defend Cassian more because it's way less relatable, I think.
I think you nailed this whole thing. But all I'll add to that is like, yeah, but you know, it's one of those things where it's extremely, one of the things that's been critiqued about in our society today and throughout the course of history is following orders. And like, does that give it an excuse? And it's definitely a critiquable thing for sure. It is something that can be expressed to someone as like, well, if you're following orders that you know are bad, then how good are you? But it is an understatement, or it can't be understated, how hard it is to break out of that chain of command and go against those direct orders upon your own, what's the word I'm looking for? Accord on your own.
Moral code.
Free will.
Yeah. Yes. Those were all great options. Values, if you
My
will.
ninja way.
You just described the plot of The Bad Batch. Because you know what they say. It's good soldiers follow orders. That's what it says on my shirt. My crosshair shirt.
Oh, look at that.
I got my Only Hope Supply crosshair shirt on.
Yeah.
Fantastic show, by the way. Some people don't like it. I love it. We're not here to talk about The Bad Batch, though.
I will just say that, yeah, I one of the main reasons why I was definitely on his side is because I can understand Jin's initial reaction to being like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do this? And like, of course. But immediately after you realize that he didn't do it, and literally for no reason, he just decided to not. He spared your father when that was his command to do, and directly disagreed with those orders in his actions. You immediately, I'm like, this conversation should be done. Should be dropped. He's clearly on your side. Mm-hmm. And then she just continues to be like, oh, you may as well be a stormtrooper. I'm like, what? No. He just explained that. Yeah. So I don't know. And I'm glad that he kind of got in her face and was like, hey, this is real easy for you. But I've been in this forever. Perhaps since I was 6 years old. And yeah, so ultimately that's my opinion. I'm being a little redundant, but yeah.
I was going to say, overall, wouldn't change a thing about the scene. I love how it plays out. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. It's the fact that, like, suddenly the rebels find themselves in between the rebels and, you know, this is embarrassing. I've literally forgot what the other side is called.
Empire.
The Empire. That one. Just like the giant battle, and they're just kind of like caught in the middle of it. You really get the idea that they just have no control over what's going on. On top of the fact, oh shoot, I had something cool, and it was cool, I promise, and it was great. And then I had an idea, and then I forgot. Somebody else has to talk. Somebody please talk.
About that, just real quick, I would like to clarify that me acting frustrated at this scene, I'm talking about the characters as though they're real. I'm not critiquing the writing or the dialogue. I'm critiquing the characters as you know, in their actions.
I remembered. So you said that. Wow, like this is really embarrassing. Cassian. I've only seen this movie twice. I think he did have something to gain out of not killing him. Like thinking about it, like maybe not necessarily something to gain, but like he knows, right? Like he believes.
Jin.
I don't know any names. He clearly believes her, and like thinking about that, he knows how much
Jin.
Other one, that Gale has done for the rebellion.
Galen.
I thought you said gay men. Where was that? No, just like how much he did for the rebellion. Like he risked his life to put in basically a self-destruct button.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's huge.
Yeah.
And like you know, like I don't think even if they would have been successful, I don't think he would have felt right about killing Galen. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm sorry.
Little dash from between. Yeah. Galen.
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 Caleb.
That is me.
Yeah. Wow, we just had a roommate moment.
Yeah.
So
I knew it was gonna happen at some point.
for people watching this or listening to this, that's what our daily lives are like here in this apartment. It's just the way it is.
It's the way.
This is the way.
Mm.
I've actually been rewatching The Mandalorian. So good. It's so good. And I told Hannah, because I finished The Last of Us 2 last night, so I was telling her my thoughts about it. And then I said that after we get done with Star Wars, if she feels so inclined, we should watch The Mandalorian, because one, it has Pedro Pascal, who's going to be Joel in The Last of Us series. And it also has a very similar story to The Last of Us, the first game.
Yeah, it does.
I think she would like it.
I'd be very down.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that Steven has not seen Mandalorian season 2?
It literally blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's so good. And
Go ahead.
I just don't know how you cannot see it by this point.
Yeah.
It's nuts, actually.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, David.
Nuts.
Tell me.
Season 2 of The Mandalorian?
I haven't even finished season 1.
Oh my
Like I think
gosh.
So good.
the first. Oh, I know. Yeah, no. I just always have other stuff to do. No, it's like 4. I think I'm 4 or 5 episodes in. I've enjoyed it.
What was the last thing you remember?
He's in the little village, and there's
Episode 4.
There's the lady who wants
Yep.
him to take off his helmet and
4.
like live a peaceful life.
Just
and
watched
he's
that
like,
one
nah.
today, actually.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well,
Not the greatest episode.
Probably the worst episode of season 1.
Wait a minute.
Wow. No,
5 is
I take
5
it
or
back.
6.
Whatever the Suicide Squad episode is, I don't like that.
6.
You were about. Oh, that episode is kind of.
I don't like that one.
No, I don't like it.
You were saying. What on earth were we talking about?
Mandalorian. What?
Didn't you and Noah do that exact same thing on an episode?
Yeah.
That's how he opened
I'm surprised your mic didn't
it.
explode.
That's how he opened it. Oh, I was peeking hard.
Yeah. Wait. So, legit, what were we talking about?
The Suicide Squad episode of The Mandalorian,
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
which is the heist one, right? Where they go on the.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's my least favorite one of that. Probably the whole show, actually. That's not true. That's not true. There's a season 2 episode I don't like that much. 2.
What happened? What? Be vague.
Ice cave, spiders.
Oh, okay.
that doesn't sound pleasant.
It's not.
That's quite a forgettable episode.
Yeah. I hate to use the word filler
That's comforting.
because it does establish something that does come up later on, but it's,
I do like that Mandalorian has kind of a I can't remember the word for this, but like when every episode is a brand new thing, like isolated stories. What is that word? Like serialized? Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
cereal like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I believe we have some of that.
It's probably expired. It's probably pretty stale. I think it's been up there for a long time.
Ew.
How long has give me okay, hang on, audio.
While you're
listeners.
doing that,
No. I you know what? It's fine. How long has the cinnamon wow, I'm having a hard
how long is the cinnamon?
time here. Hang on, now I'm waiting for it to load.
Do you smell toast?
No, I do not smell burning toast. How long has the cinnamon toast crunch been on the fridge?
It's been a long time.
That was not worth it.
I was having such a difficult time trying to bring that up and get it to the right time. And
So here's the deal. All I was gonna say is that when we eventually do that drinking game video for my channel,
yeah,
with here's the idea. I basically we have to do equivalent episode numbers.
Oh no, this.
Yeah. And you wanted to get in on that with Mandalorian, but instead you should do, because Mandalorian doesn't have enough.
it's
Clone
16
Wars.
episodes.
Do Clone Wars.
Yeah. No, I will. I'll have to study up a little bit because I don't know them all now.
What's the minimum requirement? I guess I could ask this off the podcast, but what is the minimum requirement for the number of episodes, you would say?
It's gotta be like.
At least 13.
Oh, for episode. I was gonna. Sorry, episode.
I'm talking about
13?
the total show.
Wait, maybe I don't understand your
Entire
question.
show. How many episodes? How many episodes do there need to be in the show for it to be valid for this competition?
Oh, I think the seasons are more important.
I've spent way too much time in this. I'm sorry.
I think that the
Yeah.
Huh?
Go finish what you were saying, and then we should wrap this up.
Okay.
This is not
At least
I
at
apologize.
least 10 episodes, at least 10 episodes a season, and at least there's a lot of at least 8 seasons of the show.
All right, cool.
The Clone Wars only has 7.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
7's close enough.
Person of interest with Jim Caviezel has 5.
Back to Rogue One.
Yeah.
I do have a critique to share of Rogue One. It's the only critique I have. If you'd like,
Perfect.
not this part. This part is dumb.
Let's hear it.
Now, this is bad in any movie or show at any point, but to me, it stands out like a sore thumb in this movie. Is when Jyn is on that platform. First off, that TIE fighter should have flown up like it did in the trailer.
Yep.
That was disappointing, but that's not the critique. The critique is that Krennic is up there with her and has her at gunpoint. And then she says, I mean every fine detail of their plan. Literally says there's the Death Star is corrupted. There is a one single way that we're going to blow us up. We have the plans. We know. Dude, I mean, this is why it bugs me. If she was like, had him at gunpoint, is about to kill him, says all this stuff, totally fine. I still would be confused why she's doing it. Not a big deal. You have no guarantee you're getting out of this situation.
Yeah.
You have no guarantee that he's not going to pop you and go tell them, and it will be too late. Like, actually just was bizarre to me that she said all that. One part of that movie that I think is actually just silly. But
My biggest critique of the movie, which I don't necessarily feel this strongly about this anymore. I still feel it a little bit, but after rewatching it the other night, I don't really. When the movie first came out, I thought that the first 2 acts were very slow. I thought the movie didn't really get going until they got to Scarif. But after rewatching it this last time, because this is the first time in a long time I've actually sat down and fully watched this movie. I don't think that the pacing is still a little bit slow in the beginning, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. And I think you kind of need that to build up the characters and kind of the story and everything. You can't just jump straight into it.
I have 4 words for critique. I immediately forgot what they were. That just seems to be a theme today. The tentacle monster lie detector.
Borgullet.
Yeah.
The what?
The Borgullet. Lies. Deception. Borgullet. Who know the truth.
Just
See, bad,
It just sounds
bad
like you're
Saw
trying to
Gerrera
say-
impression.
You're trying to say like burger, and it's
Bor-
getting caught in your throat.
Bor space gullet. Gullet. Well, know the truth.
next time I go to a restaurant, I'm going to order a Gullet.
Very uncomfortable scene.
I don't like it.
Nah.
No, it's gross.
Yeah.
It's also just like, listen, Star Wars is a fantasy sci-fi. They can do whatever they want. But at the same time, it also just kind of bugged me too that in this more serious movie, in this more adult grounded movie, that they're not just torturing him for information. Instead, they have this thing that somehow is going to know everything about you and know that it's just going to suck on your face and then know if you're telling the truth.
But not if somebody reminds you that you're a pilot.
I honestly,
No, that was yeah.
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 I'm gonna be real with you. I think I almost would have liked it better if somehow it was confirmed that they're just nut jobs and this animal actually doesn't do that. like I think I would love that. They're like, no, they're crazy. They're just insane. They think that this is gonna give them the answer and it's not.
When it comes to since we're talking about critiques, and since I said I wanted to say stuff about Saw Gerrera, almost forgot his name. Saw Gerrera is my critique of the movie. I think he's kind of out of place in there, and and I think he's not utilized super well, because he shows up. Bodhi talks to him about that's his name, right? The pilot Bodhi. About that stuff, and then that monster comes in and sucks his brain and drives him crazy until somebody says, "Are you the pilot?" And he goes, "Pilot, oh, Bodhi, oh, message," and then remembers everything about his life and isn't a crazy person. But my biggest thing about him has always been that, like, he's a weird extremist or whatever. He's like disillusioned with the rebellion, but then he's just not all of a sudden. And it always felt unnatural and so rushed to me that, like, as soon as they're going to get killed, he's like, "I'm done running. I'll save the rebellion." And I'm like, when did that happen? Did you go have, like, a life-changing character development scene while Jin was watching that hologram? Like, what? When did you change your mind? If anything, I think that an interesting direction could have been to have Saw Gerrera tag along, or like have them bring him with them. All the rebels are uneasy that he's around. You know, nobody really likes this guy anymore. They wanted to make peace, but, like, he's still kind of a crazy person.
Nah, he's got asthma. He has to die.
And then his arc, he can have the exact same arc, but it can make sense because it can happen throughout the movie. And at the end, he can be like, "No, I'll like, maybe I'm not a part of the rebellion, but I'll die for this cause."
I'll tell you what. It's a good thing that Saw Gerrera died in this movie, because that means he can't be in any more Star Wars projects past A New Hope. Because he's just, I've never liked him. He's an extremist, and that's not the reason I don't like him. It's just, I never saw the appeal to his character, and, you know, he just pops up in everything. He's literally he's in Rogue One. That was his first. Come. You're going to say something?
I said you must.
Another
Another
inside joke.
roommate joke, yeah.
Do it under the
Yeah.
You put me on the spot.
I think I think part of the problem is they just have this very quick scene where someone says, yeah, you know, he was with the rebellion and now he's not with the rebellion. And they just kind of like quickly kind of, you know, breeze over it. I would have liked to have seen some of that.
He could have been a main character in the movie. He could have been in the whole movie and had an arc.
Even that,
but
I
it just
would
felt
have
like his whole involvement just began and ended so fast.
Everyone talks about like all of these things that he's did. We never see a single thing he does except die.
We do in the Clone Wars, in Rebels, in Jedi Fallen Order, in the Bad Batch, in Rogue One.
Well, I've seen Rogue One.
Also, this isn't him, but an extension of him. I just don't think there would have been enough time in the movie to show that stuff. But we do see his group attack the Empire in the middle of that city. Like when they start blowing stuff up and they get into that big battle, that is his guys.
Forgot about that.
Which I like that scene a lot, because not only does it make war scary, it does like set Saw Gerrera apart from the rest of the rebellion. I think because, you know, the rebellion gets into fights wherever they need to, but I don't think they normally like do a sneak attack in a big open city with tons of civilians around. And he does do that, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I do love Rogue One. It still is my favorite Star Wars movie, but I just feel like he's so wasted in that. And especially because Forrest Whitaker is an amazing actor. He's incredible. It should have been way more utilized that they had that guy attached to that. And I just feel like he's in it for such a short amount of time. They try to force this arc that I just kind of don't buy. You know, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do about it?
What you gonna do?
Nothing. The movie's already out.
Yeah, you can't change a movie. Yeah, so do you guys have any final thoughts on Rogue One, a Star Wars story?
The new Star Wars movies have a weird thing for weird, slimy creatures in their appendages.
That's true.
Like the whole milking scene in like the 8th episode.
Best scene in any Star Wars movie.
No.
And
Just incorrect.
And also, there's the Rathtars in Episode 7, because Han Solo's hauling Rathtars. Yeah, slimy appendages. Yeah, wow.
It's weird.
Thank you for bringing that up,
Yeah.
because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wow, you're actually so right.
Anyone in
You're so
Solo
right.
Episode 9?
You have the snake thing, but I don't think.
What is that? The weird thing that's like in the sewer in Solo? What's that?
Oh, that's Lady Proxima. That's like the syndicate boss.
I can't even. Is she? I just remember that there's someone down. I don't even remember what she looks like. She could be a human for all I know.
She is definitely not a human. I think she is very slimy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no.
I did want to share something which I thought was an experience from Rogue One. I got it mixed up. It was an experience when I went to see what is the name of the 7th movie?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. When we were watching that, we got to the point where Han dies.
Right.
I know him. I know his name.
I would hope so.
Some dude in the audience, I couldn't tell if he was crying or laughing or dying, but as soon as he gets stabbed, for the next 10 minutes, all we hear is...
Wow.
for
Are you
minutes
serious?
on end, some dude just going...
That's
No idea
unbelievable.
what this sound is.
Wow.
Yeah, we're sitting there in the movie theater. Some guy's just
Wow. That's actually insane.
for minutes.
That's annoying.
Oh my! I would have been so frustrated.
It was.
I
I was
get
trying
so
so hard
mad.
not to crack up. It was annoying, but also the fact that this guy is like having an asthma attack in the theater.
When we saw Solo, I went with my friend Garrison, and I think I was a little sick. It was during one scene. Actually, I think it was during the end scene, which I'm not going to say what it is, but there's a appearance by a certain character in Solo. I think it was during that scene, and I just could not stop coughing. I tried so hard to shut myself up, and I just couldn't. Like 3 minutes straight, I'm just going. Could not stop. I had to steal Garrison's icy to gulp it down real quick because I was actually dying.
At least thank you for not going like, like that
Yeah.
would have been awful.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
And I just hate when people have like reactions in movie theaters. Like the 5th time I saw The Rise of Skywalker in theaters, yes, I saw that movie 5 times. I spent at least $60 on movie tickets.
Wow.
But I will say, no, this was the time. The 5th and final time was in the Dolby Theater, which is like the super high quality picture and surround sound and stuff. It wasn't a very busy theater because the movie has already been out for a while at this point. Oh, you know what happens to my favorite character, right?
Kind of. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ben Solo fades away, and I hear just in the back somebody go, ha 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 ha, and I've never wanted to turn around and just punch somebody more in my life than I did in that moment.
Oh no.
How dare you? How dare you? Was not happy with that gentleman.
Just like should have stood up and whipped out the lightsaber, like and just pop on the helmet. Man.
So I think that wraps everything up. We're
One more thought about
yeah,
Rogue One?
of course.
It's literally so fast. It's just that AT-ATs and AT-STs in this are scary.
Yeah.
Because of the scale, like that we see them from the ground, which the AT-ATs are the big ones, right? Like from the ground perspective of being a human-sized, like I mean, I always knew that they were big, but every time we see them, it's someone in a ship flying around. It's hard to gauge that. Being literally at where the height of a person is and looking up at that giant metal monster crushing trees, stomping around, getting shot with a rocket, does nothing. So freaky.
That's
like
like
they
some-
are not okay in that movie.
That's like some Jurassic Park like cup shaking kind of energy on it. It's so good, and the way they introduce it, they're just like AT-AT, and then everything.
How scared everyone else is
Yeah,
of them.
it's fantastic.
Some people call them at-ats, and those people are wrong.
Oh yeah, I believe.
Because you can't call one of them AT-ATs and one of them ATST. You just be consistent.
It's not
No,
an
it's an
ats.
Yeah.
No, that's just not how it is.
I agree that it's an AT-AT, but the other one's called ATST.
No.
So
I know.
the other
But
really
going back to the Mandalorian, this was the episode that you were just talking about. The last thing you remember, how the ATST is in it, and what I like so much about that episode is the ATST is kind of a character, and it's menacing and it's threatening, and it was just so good. Keefer's coming back. Welcome back, Keefer. We're wrapping it up.
Guest
You
appearance.
got.
Wait, really? I thought I have a few more subjects up there.
Oh well, we're already way past the allotted time that I wanted to go past. So.
I'm bringing them up anyways.
This is gonna have to be a two-parter.
I just want to say this. Well, first off, what on earth was that noise?
What noise?
Oh yeah, I went to see the seventh Star Wars movie, and when Han died, some guy in the like, oh, thank you, some guy in the theater, as soon as he died, just for minutes on end.
Oh my god!
It sounded like maybe he was choking or something like that, but just constantly just.
Oh man!
Actually,
What a
unbelievable.
reaction, dude! I had Force Awakens spoiled for me, literally minutes before I watched the movie. I was scrolling through Instagram in the theater,
Number one mistake.
just
Stay
during
off the internet.
trailers.
I didn't go on the internet at all that day.
Literally found a picture of it, and it said Han Solo dies by his kid Kylo Ren, and I'm like, nice. And then I just turned my phone off. But no, the only thing I was gonna say, and then I'm sorry, I know I left, I deserve this, but CG Tarkin. Honestly, the weirdest thing for me that I thought, like in retrospect, because I'm like, all right, whatever, he's CG. Who cares? Who cares? Even though Hannah realized immediately.
Oh, she picked up on it quick.
She was like, she knows nothing about these movies, and she goes, "Is that person CGI?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Really good for the time. Hasn't aged the best, but what does?
It's hard to do CG people.
It is.
It's so hard.
Lips.
I
Lips are impossible. That was like the same thing.
Lips
same
in the
issue-
eyes.
The same issue they had with the Justice League, with like who plays Superman?
Henry Cavill.
Again, I don't know names. They had to like get rid of his mustache because he had a mustache for like another set, and you can tell like his lip looks weird in that movie.
All I want to say is the weirdest thing that I noticed, was the way that that those scenes with him are shot. If you look at them, it's just not like the rest of the cinematography that they do throughout the rest of the film. Like pretty much every single shot where it's like over his shoulder is quite literally just his shoulder, and it's clearly just someone standing there. And then also the last thing I gotta say, that final Darth Vader scene, wild, epic.
I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, this is an old review, so no need to go into it super far. But man, that was the best. Seeing that on the big screen, that was crazy.
I
Princess Leia didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Just quickly on that, I actually disagree, and I know that that's like not the popular opinion.
What do you disagree on?
I don't think Moff looks that bad, and I think Leia looks horrible. I think she looks way worse than him.
Maybe if she was on screen.
I think
more.
her eyes and her mouth look so plasticky and shiny. I always thought it looked bad, and I never like Moff looks fake, but I think it's passable. Like,
What platform does this come out on?
What?
Podcast.
YouTube for the video podcast, Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the audio.
Leave in the comments below who you think looks worse.
that's the hashtag. Don't you do a hashtag for people who make it all the way through?
Yeah, but I already thought of one earlier. So, yeah.
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 I think those are my final comments. You want to wrap this up? So
Yeah,
let's-
so I just think that if you're going to show somebody Star Wars for the very first time who's never seen anything Star Wars before, consider Rogue One. I think it's a great place to start. It, provides context for the world, and it's a good movie. And I think it's a great introduction to the galaxy far, far away. With that being said, Keefer's got one more thing.
I just wanted to say that if you think about it, another good reason to watch it first is because it's literally just a 2.5-hour version of The Crawl.
It is The Crawl. It's the story of
Exactly.
The Crawl. Yeah.
So instead of reading The Crawl, literally, like, if you disagree, like, no, you should start with A New Hope. Well, it kind of proves itself that if you read The Crawl, well, no, you can just watch The Crawl instead. And that's where we're going for you.
Mm-hmm.
And what if I don't think?
Well, we all have that problem sometimes.
Okay, cool. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. This was fun. We're going to have to get... Of course.
Yes, this was fun.
Well, I've been wanting to have you guys on the podcast ever since Live at the Cantina.
I've been texting you for years.
Yeah,
wanting to get
no,
on this podcast.
literally, it's been how give me the phone. How long has no, it's at 15:29 is the second mark. How long has Keefer and everybody been wanting to be on the podcast? 15:29. Jen, tell us how long it's been.
It's been a long time.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it's yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you. Actually. I really appreciate that. I've been planning that bit for so long, and I'm so glad I got to use it more than once on this podcast. Three times.
Comedy does come in threes. So
Yeah.
You're a comedic genius.
Which one of us is not the funny one then?
Oh, probably me. Because like I said, I'm not funny. When I told Caleb I was doing a bit at the beginning, I'm like, I have a bit, but it's not funny.
It was funny.
It was funny. It was funny.
You were funny in the best possible way.
I appreciate that. One more thing I want to say was thank you guys, of course, for joining me. But it was so nice to be able to do a podcast like in real life again. Mm-hmm. I love talking to different people over like Zoom and stuff, but it's always something special about actually being with you guys and being able to interact and engage. Because what I can't do to people,
No.
what I can't do to people on Zoom
Don't.
is the Nerf gun.
We're not doing this.
Yeah, we are. We're doing it. That was so loud. I apologize.
You got me in the neck.
Good. It's just so fun to be able to throw things at people and like the podcast and to shoot them and stuff.
We're gonna leave space for Jesus. All right. This is not.
So yeah. Thank you guys for actually being here, so I can shoot you with a Nerf gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna do it for this episode of Back to Jakku. You guys know the drill. If you made it this far, go on over to YouTube if you're not already. And in the comments, leave a nice little comment, #lies, deceptions. Because I think I would like that. Now, is anybody going to listen to an hour and 37-minute long podcast of Rogue One? Well, good. I usually go back and listen to all my podcasts.
Call it a special episode. Then they will.
Ooh.
A holiday special.
The holiday special. Wow. Oh, my gosh.
Have you ever seen that?
I've seen most of it. I would love to sit down with you guys and watch it, though.
We should.
Yeah.
Also, never mind. It was gonna be a dumb joke.
I have stories for another day.
Yes. We will save that for another day.
Can we do plugs? I'm trying to poach your audience.
Oh, of course. So, you guys all have
You gotta take
things.
advantage.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna do this at first, and then no one else did, and I'm like, all right, well, I
Yeah.
won't say
No.
anything.
Let us.
famous on TikTok. I gotta
Let
give me
us.
some
Yeah.
money.
Let us know where we can find you.
Where you can find me as myself, I guess just TikTok is the only place that I would say to actually follow me. My Instagram's not worth it, and it's personal. Daigle Wagle, DAGLE on TikTok. I don't post that much, but sometimes I do. And also subscribe to Smoking Skeleton Pictures on YouTube. It's not my YouTube channel, but I have multiple short films on there that I directed. So 16 Days in Grass is Greener. Watch them. Check them out.
I will put the link in the description of the YouTube video.
Ooh.
David, you got to plug anything?
I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Sappy Smash, SAP. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm not good at this microphone. No, you're fine. I'm not good at this. I caught myself earlier when I was talking about something. I was holding the microphone over here. Just like completely. I was interviewing the tree.
The tree.
SAPHISMASH. It is impossible. So I'm sorry. I haven't uploaded in a while, but I think I've got some big things coming. So I got some cool plans coming up.
Awesome. Keefer, you have quite
The catalog.
yeah, quite the what do you call that? Like a personal collection of media sources.
Catalog?
Sure. what you
I don't know.
you said first, yeah.
I would say, yeah, I don't want to give my personal social medias out there, but if you somehow find it, then I guess you've earned it. So Try S Productions, TRI-S space Productions.
Don't forget the dash.
Don't forget the dash, because there's literally a Tris Productions, so don't.
So you really don't want to forget the dash.
And then I short film channel, soon to launch a Walking Dead / movie review / television review / video essay channel, and also a new short film channel at some point. But Try-S Productions is where I reside currently, so go subscribe.
I just realized I never said what I did, and you're gonna have to go find out.
Oh, cool.
It's because I don't know yet either.
I see. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Remember, if you made it this far, #Lies Deceptions.
Can I trash talk a channel really quick?
No, we've done enough slandering on this podcast.
That's
I'm gonna do it. Do not go subscribe to Verdant Productions.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh.
I
Go
don't even want to
dislike
get
them.
into it, but look up Verdant Productions, go to their one video and dislike it. They suck. They're bullies. That's all I'll say.
You heard it here first. Go do that thing. Is what Keefer and Caleb just said.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
Yeah. Cool. So David's gone.
David.
I think that means we're done here. So thank you guys so much. Follow me on TikTok if you're not already at Kev28 _. But if you're listening to this, you know who I am. You know what I'm about. So remember, #Lies Deceptions. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been a while. I'm sure all of you have dearly missed the podcast. And for that, I apologize. But we're back, baby. We're back. Hoping to do more of these very soon. So thanks for listening. And have a good day. And may the force be with you.